there is another possible matchup for Moses Atoma, okay? Daniel Pero, no fear, Pero. And I think it's a good matchup. I think it's a big step up for Daniel. Daniel has not fought anyone to that magnitude. Moses Atoma has more knockouts than Daniel has fights. You know, he has 10 knockouts, and Daniel has only had 10 fights. So the step up is definitely there, especially after he knocked out the Australian, right? So I think this is good and bad. It's good for Moses because it gives him another notch on the belt, but it's bad for Daniel unless he can do it. I mean, he's 25 years old. He has more fights than his brother, Leniel, which is 32 years of age. So that tells you that he might have defected after his brother did, you know, having lesser fights or whatnot, you know, one more fight difference. But he's definitely been busier than his brother, and he's younger. You know, he's like 7 years younger. So, you know, he, needs a chance. See, and these fights shape and mold other fighters. If Moses can take him out, which a lot of people expect him to do, it just adds another name to the list of undefeated fighters that he can accomplish, that builds his resume. You know what I mean? But understand, you're dealing with a guy like the Fear, Daniel. Daniel is a young prodigy, and he's hungry as well. And these fights make or break you, though, because you don't really know what could possibly happen in a fight like this. You know what I mean? Like the magnitude of those guys getting it on, southpaw versus southpaw, hunger versus hunger, expectation versus new prodigy and new kid on the block, could always raise eyes and eyebrows, you know what I'm saying, to see who can do what in the ring. Now, the step up, it's almost, to me, it's like, it reminds me of Inyika versus Apataya to me. That's exactly what it's looking like. And it just shows you how these fighters are now just being thrown to the wolves, and the wolves are very hungry. You know what I mean? And the wolf looks like Moses Atoma, but Daniel may indeed be a water otter. He may be a lot tougher than people think he is. He definitely is a new prodigy. He's a new kid on the block. He's hungry. He has skill. All those Cubans have skill to a certain degree. They did not leave that island and defect from that country without skills, without belief, without knowledge, without resume, right? And I think it's going to be one hell of a fight. And I would love to see that fight this year. I would prefer Daniel to have more fights, though, at least 2 or 3 more fights. At least let him get about 13 wins, maybe even 14 wins before going up against someone like Moses Atoma. But, sometimes the sooner the better. But then sometimes, you could push a fighter in there like Daniel, no fear, too soon. Yeah, he may have no fear, but is it very smart to put him in there with someone like Moses Atoma? And I have to say it's not right now. Just like I'd like to see Inyika in there with at least 4 or 5 more fights before he fought Jai Abataya. You know what I'm saying? And, and the skill set and the tenacity and the experience showed through and through. It was what these fighters are not ready for because they weren't conditioned for that type of fight, which they need to be conditioned fight by fight. And I think as much as I would love to see Moses Atoma's resume build and build because he looks like he's going to be that next superstar, how many times, though, on the backs of somebody that just simply wasn't ready? You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at. So that's pros and cons. It's good for Moses, but I think it's very challenging and could be bad for Daniel No Fear Pero. But you guys tell me what you think about this possible matchup between Moses Atoma and Daniel Pero in 2025 at some time. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch.